searching for an answer in my soul.
This program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are.
Hi, and welcome everyone back to another episode of Soul Impact, How Music Saved Us. I'm your host, Wild Willie, and today we got an exciting episode out for you. Today we are going to sit down with up-and-coming rising country music, Lee Klett. Born in Iowa and raised on the classics, Lee's soulful sound and honest storytelling have with his band, The Boys. Get ready for passion, grit, and heart behind the music that captures fans everywhere. Let's welcome Lee. Lee, I want to welcome you to the show today. Thank you for taking some time out with me so we can get you on an interview.
Well, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
So a little bit about the show, and we didn't really go into detail, but the story behind this is growing up, I had a pretty rough upbringing, and there's a lot of abuse. So, and of course, with technology, it's a blessing. I want people to be able to have a resource that when they go through depression, anxiety, struggles of any kind, that they can find my podcast as a resource to say, you know what? I seen Lee's interview on here and it helped me. Or if you know someone that is going through what you went through, they can share the interview with them so they can kind of have a resource that know just because it feels like they're in their pit, there's hope for them. So
I really dig the theme here. I think or the whole how music saved us thing. If it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be here. So
same
I completely dig it, brother.
So why don't you tell a little bit, I kind of gave a brief introduction about you, but why don't you kind of tell everybody who you are and what you got going on right now?
Sure. My name is Lee Klett. I'm an independent country artist from Southeast Iowa. I'm in a band called The Boys with my twin brother and, my family. The rest of the guys are family. And we travel all over the region, different states, and around here locally, and play as many shows as I can, try to spread our music and a little happiness and joy to people.
And that's awesome. And in hard times like that, that's really great to find that in music. And honestly, someone that's been on my show recently that I follow shared one of your songs, and that's how I reached out, because I heard the song, and we're going to talk about it later, and I'm not going to ruin that surprise, but you can definitely
I'm just going to ask.
Well, it's the one you sent me. Well, I mean,
okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I was going to ask you who.
It was Birdie Young.
Oh yeah, she's a sweetheart.
She shared it, and I happen, I have a lot of downtime, so I scroll through Facebook and TikTok, and I probably send 50, 60 emails a day out to people, and you know what? They don't get answered. They don't get answered.
Well, I just got to see Birdie a couple weeks ago. She was doing an interview in a show in my hometown, which I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere. But every Friday they have a little showcase show, and I got to hang out with her for a little bit a couple weeks ago, and she is just one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, and so very talented.
Oh yeah, she is. She has such a big heart too. She really does. But so how'd you get into music?
Oh man, I've been a fan of music my entire life. I think we were singing along to CMT when we were 2 years old. I mean, I knew every word to Swingin' by John Anderson when I was 2 years old. That just dates me. or aged me, whatever. But we didn't go anywhere or do anything without the radio on. Dad in the garage, we'd have the oldie station going. And we'd go anywhere in the car with Mom. We'd be singing along to what was new and popular on the radio in country music. And she taught us harmonies. And I mean, I have so many good memories from growing up, being in the car and just jamming out with my mom and my brother and my sisters. So yeah, a musician's all I've ever wanted to be in my entire life.
So I would love to be a musician, but I broke my arm and I can't turn my arm palm up. So I always wanted to learn to play the guitar. You know, you say it date you, but that's not necessarily true. I'm only 35, but I was raised on Conway, Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, Porter Wagoner, you know, the list to go on. To me,
Yeah.
that is country music. I mean,
You're not wrong.
That's the heart they put into it. I mean, you take Johnny Cash, for instance. He could sing songs about shooting a woman down, but he did it with such heart.
Yeah. I think my first band was a Johnny Cash tribute band. So,
but yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit about me. I'm a DJ, and I also run sound for festivals. So I do a lot of that stuff. And, you know, on the flip side of not just the depression, but seeing the artists that they have one bad show and they're like, this ain't for me. So I want to give them people hope as well. I mean,
I mean, I've run into those. I've got a lot of friends who are in the music business, and I've had that conversation with people like, I don't know what we did wrong here. Is that you didn't do anything wrong. It was just, or you just had a night where nobody was paying attention. It wasn't about you. You were playing in a bar and people were there to drink and you were background noise. It's not always about what you're doing. And sometimes you have those shows like every time I do a private event where I know I just got hired to be background noise at this corporate thing. And nobody claps, nobody applauds, nobody makes any noise or even acknowledges that I'm there in the corner playing my music until I'm done and I'm tearing down, and then I get the compliments and everything. So it's not always about how it feels while you're doing it. And I've had weekends where I've had some of the best reactions that you could ask for on Friday night and had all the great interactions, met some kids that wanted autographs signed or whatever, and then turn around the very next day and it's crickets all night. So those highs and lows, I mean, they happen.
Oh, even as a DJ, those moments they're hard because like for a DJ, I go off crowd anticipation sometimes. So like, it's like, okay, maybe I'm not doing something right. So yeah, I get it. I mean,
when I'm doing a solo show, I feed off the audience. If I don't think they're getting into 90s country, or if I don't think they're feeling the Johnny Cash, I'll play some old rock and roll. But if they're not giving me anything to feed off of, I have no idea where to go. So I just play what I think is getting their attention, or some of those shows I play a lot more of the slow or the ones I get to put a little bit more soul into, just because it does something for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I walk away from a show and I only did something for me, I still consider that a win.
Oh, absolutely. And that's how I feel about this thing. If right now I don't really have big viewers, but you know what? That's okay. Because if one person watches it and gets help, then to me it's worth it. You know, I'm not saying I don't want my podcast to monetize. I'm not saying that. I think that's a dream for anyone that does it. But to me, it's more about helping the people. You know, as a DJ, there brings me nothing more joy than these free events I do. I DJ the Hero Marathon, the finish line for the Hero Marathon every year in that finishes. They run from Salem, Missouri to Rolla, Missouri. And every year I finish I DJ at the finish line, and I get more enjoyment out of the veterans coming up and say, thank you for what you're doing. This song brought back this memory, or, you know, I get more joy out of that than the paying jobs. I mean, I like the paying jobs, but to be able to, the thank yous or the feedback, really, I think is so instrumental.
Oh, I agree. And so, yeah, sometimes what feeds the soul is better than what feeds the wallet. I completely understand that.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to go out and do everything for free, because obviously I can't provide for my daughter that way. But I do have some events. I've had my business for 5 years. There are some businesses that I do that I will never charge for. Like, there's a big toy drive over here, and when I first did it, my ex-wife got mad because we were financially struggling. I said, yeah, we may be financially struggling, but I'm not going to take from all them kids that it's buying Christmas for. I said, so, you know, my religion plays into it as well. Not everybody is. I am. I believe that if you know, even if you take the religion out of it, because some people aren't, but I do believe if you do good unto others, good will come back to you, you know? So, and you can't expect other people to take care of your community when you're not doing it yourself.
100% agree, man. I said we get a little bit we've gotten to a point where we have to be a little bit choosier on what we do to be helpful. We limit our free or lower priced options for like stuff that have to do with the veterans. We have my brother's a 20-year veteran and served over in Afghanistan. So we played a show a couple of years ago for a group of vets from the Korean War. And this last summer, we were talking before we started the actual interview. This last summer, we did a benefit with another band. Actually, I think there was 4 bands, but the one that was running things is a group of younger guys where everybody in the band is a veteran. And it was for Stop Soldier Suicide, and we raised $15,000, and none of the bands charged a dime.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so important to military. I mean, obviously they hold a big dear spot in my, you know, and you know, when we brought that up earlier, is next year I'm doing 2 different benefits for Operation Combating Veteran Suicide to help them raise money to rehabilitate veterans, house them, and get them the help they need, whatever they need, you know. So, and as part of that is we've got to look out for our veterans. I mean, let's just be honest. I am not a veteran at all. I did try, but sleep apnea and a metal plate in your arm kind of disqualifies you.
I can see that.
So, but I have a long line of family members that are my uncles, cousins, brothers. So, you know.
Same here. My grandpa was in World War II. My aunt was in the Navy. I have our uncle in the Army, an uncle in the Marines. My brother is in the Army. I mean, I've got cousins and their kids are starting to go in. Like, we've got a very proud history of military in our family, and couldn't be prouder of our veterans. And you're right, we do need to support them. We do need to take care of them.
Oh, yeah, and it's really sad. I mean, it's not as bad as it was. You know, my grandpa, he fought in 2 different wars, and he said when he come back both times, he was pretty much spit on. So, you know, it's not as bad now. I'm not saying it's not bad, but
Right.
But people don't realize how much y'all sacrifice, and not just y'all, but your families. And people, you know, being as a family of veterans, I see the struggles and I know the struggles. So people don't realize that it's not just a sacrifice that veterans made.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I saw, I've seen firsthand what serving overseas, even in a non-combatant type of way, how much that does to your mental health. And, or for instance, I don't want to drag anybody through mud, but my brother served, he was gone for 11 months. He was over in Afghanistan, and he was driving. One of the most dangerous jobs you can do in Afghanistan. And when he came home, he had a chip on his shoulder for like 6 months. Like the littlest things would get him upset. And he's moved past that, but it's not just him. And that was non-combatant. He never had to fire at anybody. As a matter of fact, as we were talking about family, while he was over there, he was in Kandahar, and my cousin met him on Iowa Street in Kandahar, Afghanistan. And they took a picture together. He wasn't military anymore, but he was former Navy, and he was a consultant for the military doing his thing over there. But he did like 3 years over in Afghanistan. So, I mean, I've seen what that kind of stuff can do to their mental health and how it affects them. I couldn't imagine like the stuff that my grandpa had bottled up from World War II. Or, I mean, anybody from like the Vietnam era or the Korean War, which they call the Forgotten War because so many people forgot it even happened.
Yeah, and it's really sad because, like, the end of the day, that, you know, there's wives that leaving husbands because they're gone too long. There's, you know, so then the veterans come home and their home isn't home, you know. So
yeah, and their kids don't know who they are. Or,
oh yeah, I mean,
yeah, lots of. I mean, there's a lot of things to traumatize them, and then they come home and they don't get the treatment they deserve, or they're not getting the medical help that they need or the mental help that they need. And then you see, or we don't have a lot of it around here because I live in a small town, but you see somebody that's homeless, who served our country, and that's a crime.
oh yeah,
They
it
should
really
be
is.
taken care of. They wrote a check back when they were 18 or whatever, and they signed up to be in the military. They wrote a check that was up to and including their lives to the United States. The United States should have to take that same thing and make sure that when they come home that they are taken care of for life.
Yes, instead of finding loopholes. I have a brother that he served and got cancer from Agent Orange over in Panama. And I may be saying the wrong color. I don't remember what he said. My memory's horrible, but I believe it was Agent
You're
Orange.
fine.
And he went 6 years, 7 years fighting the VA to get the help he needs. You know, and that's really sad that they're more worried about the dollar amount than they are the individual. I mean,
don't get me started on that one, because what aggravates me the most about that is the dollars that they're spending ain't their dollars, it's our dollars.
Exactly. I mean, but, you know, people take things for granted. You know, I
Like
love
freedom.
football. Oh, exactly. Like, I love football, but I boycotted football when they started this disrespect during the national anthem. You know,
I agree with you 100%. When they started kneeling, I stopped watching, and I just started watching again the last couple of years.
But that's like, I'm a diehard Chiefs fan, and I swear I gotta give Andy Reid credit because he would talk to his players. He's like, even if the NFL ain't gonna punish you for being disrespectful, I will. I don't care if I take the loss, you know. And I'm sure there was other coaches that did that, but, you know, when you guys make the ultimate sacrifice, you know, some veterans make the ultimate sacrifice and unfortunately don't come back, you know, but they knew what they were signing up for. And often I don't mean that disrespectfully.
No
They-
disrespect taken.
they did that knowingly that they could die, and they still chose to fight for our freedom. Is what I was trying to say. I mean,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I didn't know that about Andy. And by the way, you and my girlfriend would get along great. She is a huge Chiefs fan. She's got to wear, she's got special clothing that she has to wear for game day. But and she doesn't, or we get along even though we root for different teams. I'm sorry for you guys' loss this week, but my team won, so.
Yeah. Penalties killed us this week. I mean,
You
I know
are
that
all my the
120 yards, 120
was that
yards
it? Because
just on
I
the
know,
defense side. That's not counting the loss of yards we lost for offensive penalties. That's just the penalties on the defensive side of the ball.
but I'll give you this though, and not to get too much into football, but at least this week in your loss, your quarterback looked like he knew what he was freaking doing. The week before, when you guys won by the skin of your butts, it looked like Mahomes was just terrified to throw the ball. And I don't know how in the world you guys pulled off a win.
I don't either. I'm a diehard Chiefs fan, but I don't know.
Oh, well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm a Bears fan, and I haven't had much to get excited about up until this year since the 80s. So,
Hey, my stepdad, he may not have been the best person to me, but he was a huge Bear fan. So I like the Bears as well. I mean, when you said your team won, I was thinking you were a Cowboys fan and we were going to have
oh
problems.
no, no,
But no.
no.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you know, people don't realize how much music affects everyday to day life. Bring it back to music a little bit.
Yeah,
Is when, you know, and I'll use me for example. I always loved the song "What Hurts the Most," re-recorded by Rascal Flatts, originally done by Mark Willis. Always loved that song. But when
I tell you, if you've never heard it, listen to the Aaron Lewis version, because I mean I like the Rascal Flatts version. I didn't know Mark Wills did it, but the Aaron Lewis version is beautiful. I love that
I'm gonna have to
song.
look it up. But yeah, when I went through my divorce, I love that song from the first time I heard it. But when I went through my divorce, man, that song hit different. You know, and I believe music is like therapeutic and not just in what you need at the moment, but what you need next week. You're gonna go through something, and you know, you'll think of a song. Like for me, I'm religious, not very is, but not everybody is. But there was a song that I heard in the middle of all the chaos I was going through, and that's "I Was Made for More." And it talks about, you know, I was made for more than what I'm going through, and it kind of motivates you. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's science behind it. You know, Harvard did a study back in 2021 that talks about how exactly music can really save a heart or save someone, because your brain releases this chemical called dopamine that actually is the chemical that motivates you and makes you happy. And so by doing that, you know, you're ultimately making yourself happy.
Yeah. I'll share with you a little piece my mom told me when I was younger. Like, music hits different. I mean, especially like those songs you don't have anything to relate to now, but when you're young, people feel the music, they feel the tempo, the melodies, whatever. And as you get older, you relate more to the lyrics and those feelings. Same song, but hit you from a different point of view. And you're 100% right. If I'm in a bad mood, if I'm having a rough day, I come home, pick up a guitar, and I can play Simple Man by Leonard Skinner, and just belt it out to the top of my lungs. And by the time I'm done with the song, I'm feeling calmer and better. Or if I'm feeling just some kind of way, I can sit down and write music and try to put my feelings down on paper and put myself in a better frame of mind. If it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be here. I know that for a fact.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. When I was getting a tar beat out of me as a kid and I found music and I realized that, it's okay to feel angry, frustrated, whatever you're feeling. Music is a way of helping you deal with it. Not everybody deals with it the way I do, and that's okay too. But for me, I use music to help me go through the 5 stages of grief. So if I'm sad, I'll listen to a sad song that I can relate to that'll help me get through that. And then I go to the next emotion and the next emotion. So, and
Agreed,
there's,
100%.
to me, that gives me the best therapy. I mean, when I first started this, everybody's like, this is not going to go anywhere. People ain't going to take it serious, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, a good friend of mine, I had talked about it for a long time, but then a good friend, he became a good friend of mine later on. I met him at a festival, and his name's Bubba Starts. And he's one of them guys that when we connected, and it was just like, I've known him all my life. And we got to talking. We ran sound at a festival together, and we got to talking, and he's like, and I was telling him my deal, and next thing I know, he calls me a couple days later, and he's like, after he got back to South Dakota, and he's like, Willie, I think you should do it. And I was like, well, it took a little pushing, but 4 days later, I aired my first episode, and that was June 11th of 25. And as of recording this episode, I'm almost at 50 episodes.
Nice.
So
I'll say Bubba's got one of the magnetic personalities. I met him a couple years ago. Actually, we'd briefly met a year before that, but we didn't actually get to talk much or nothing past introductions. But then I went up to South Dakota, where he's from, and we hung out one day, and he is so positive and such a good influence. And I mean, he is huge on the scene. That's his baby, but yeah, I've done a couple interviews with him. He's a good person to know.
Oh, he is. He has a huge heart too.
Absolutely.
My daughter calls him Uncle Bubba, and I'm okay with that. We have become really good friends. He's more like a brother to me at this point, and he'll say the same. We talk, if not every day, every other day. And he's that person, if I need grounded, I'll reach out to Bubba and I'll be like, hey, he's almost become my mentor in the podcast world because, I didn't know anything when I was doing, my very first interview was with Bubba. I interviewed him on my show from episode 1. And it's just to see the growth, that's where it ultimately goes. You got to believe in yourself, whether you're a podcaster, a musician, an artist, a songwriter, a producer, whatever you're doing, the power of believing in yourself. There's a quote, and I don't know who says it, but it's one of my favorite quotes. And it's, one person with a belief is equal to a force of 99 with just an interest. And that tells you just exactly how powerful it is to believe in yourself, and
yeah.
So we're going to ask you a couple questions because I want to get to this song I have.
Sure.
And I know the answer already, so don't cheat and change your answer. No.
I make no promises. I'm not sure what the question is.
Okay, well, there's going to be 2 questions. The first is, when you're writing, and you hit on it a little bit earlier, what's that songwriting process like for you?
Oh, it's basically therapy, man. I sit down, I try to shut out the entire world, take the TV off, like no distractions. I just sit there with a guitar, and usually when I'm sitting down to write, I already have a song in mind or a title in mind, or sometimes it's just a line that I thought of that I'm like, ooh, this has got to fit into a song, and then I figure out what the song is going to be, and then I try to put down a melody, something with the guitar, try and get the right tempo. I was like, do I want this to be a fast song? Do I want it to be a slow song? Is it supposed to be something that brings up emotion? Am I going to try and do something? Or one of the songs off our first album, I literally wrote it just to tick off my lead guitar player. I made it to where it starts in one key and it jumps to another. But I have 4 different progressions in the song, so it's not just like a G, D, E minor, C progression all the way through, as some of the songs are, but just to make him have to work harder. But I wrote it for that purpose, and just so I could showcase, like, it starts off low, my voice is real low, and by the end of the song, I'm hitting falsettos, because I want to show off my vocal range. Sometimes I just want a nice country. I want to write something like it's still the 90s. I put a nice little 1-4-1-5 shuffle in, or a 12-bar blues, and just roll with it. Sometimes it's a story, sometimes it's just a feel good. So it kind of depends on what the thing is, but I like to have that. I can't write when
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you. You got buzzing coming through.
Does that help?
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
now you were. There you are.
Well, I took my headphones off, and I don't know what, I could hear you just fine.
Oh, it was buzzing bad on my end.
Oh, weird. Never had that issue. These are really nice headphones. All right, so I have no idea what you heard and what you didn't hear.
I heard. Just kidding. No. I heard, the last thing I heard was you talking about how he wanted the older feel of country.
Oh yeah, so I say just depends on whatever I'm writing. If I'm feeling like the 90s country vibe, I'll play a nice 1-4-1-5 or something like that, and then I mean, because I still write like it's the 90s, but I try not to have any distractions. If anybody else is in the house, they know to like stick to what they're doing and not interrupt. Unless I'm writing with somebody, and then obviously they can interrupt and put their feelings in there. But for an hour or two, or if I'm on a roll, 3 hours or whatever, usually if I get stuck or whatever, I quit. So, or I wouldn't say quit. I just I put it off for another time, because if I get myself frustrated, then I won't finish the song. So I just stop, and then I'll come back to it later. Like I've got a note folder in my phone that's got probably 2 or 3 dozen songs started that I haven't finished. One day I'll just have a thought like, hey, you know what? I should work on this particular song. I'll come back to it and do the same thing. But it's like I said, it's like therapy. I keep the lights down. I might light a candle. Everything's nice and calm. Dog laying in her bed, everything blissful. And then it's just like therapy. It's like I'm writing to my therapist, who happens to be my guitar and in my head.
Oh, absolutely. And that's going to bring me to my next question for you.
Sure.
Is there a song out there that has, through writing it, has given you the most healing, that you've been able to let go of a lot of things?
Absolutely, there is. And that's the one you knew the answer to. So we already shared this. This song, I wrote a song for my son, who was killed in a car accident in 2020. And that song, and just understanding how I wrote the song and how it came out, has given me a lot of insight to my process and how I do things. And the song is literally about how music saves me, or how it saved me from that whole thing. Because when he passed, I went to a dark place. I didn't people for 6 months. I was going through the motions. I was angry about everything, and I didn't want to be here. And I have 2 more children. I mean, granted, now my youngest is 19, but he wasn't 5 years ago, obviously. And he still needed a dad. My daughter, even though she wasn't living with me, and technically she was grown, or she was 18. No, I guess she would have been. Yeah, she's 19. Even though she was grown, she still needed her dad. But I didn't feel like I felt like I failed, because no parent, in my opinion, no parent should ever outlast their children. Regardless of the scenario, I just didn't want to be here because, I'd failed as a parent. And I know now that I didn't, but you can't stop yourself from feeling how you feel.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sorry
yeah.
you went through all that.
Well, thank you. I mean, every day is a struggle, and I know this won't air today, but today would have been his 27th birthday. And I miss him like crazy every day. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about him and the man he would have been or could have been by now. And where would he be? Would I have grandkids now? I'm guessing I probably would have. He was a giant pain in my butt, but I loved him to death. But he was popular with the ladies, so I was surprised he didn't make me a grandpa before he passed. But he's like constantly on my mind. And this song, I literally wrote it to tell to tell the story of how I deal with the grieving process. So the first 2 verses are, they're completely made up. For instance, in the second verse, I say that the guitar, or the song's called Pawnshop Guitar. The guitar in the song, I say she was there the day I met my wife. Or as far as anybody's concerned, I don't know a single person who doesn't have or isn't making their guitar female. So when I say she was there the day I met my wife, she wasn't. I didn't even play guitar when I got the day I got, or before I got married. I didn't start playing guitar until about 6 months later. And but then the third verse is 100% true. In the chorus, I'll let people listen to it, but she's gotten me through thick and thin, every situation I've been in. She doesn't take the hurt, just lets it out. So when I'm feeling bad or blue or whatever, I just play guitar and I can put those emotions into something constructive or something that's not doing damage, not destructive. And I can heal through music.
Well, thank you for sharing this with us, especially on his birthday. I can't imagine what you're going through, and I agree completely. I hope I never have to endure that pain.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
But we're going to, without any further ado, this is Pawnshop Guitars by the Boys.
Found her there on a pawn shop wall between an Ibanez and an Epiphone, covered in dust. She only had 4 strings. I took her home and I cleaned her up, bought new strings, straightened her truss. She wasn't pretty, but she was beautiful to me. She's gotten me through thick and thin, every situation I've been in. She don't take the hurt, just lets it out. Through Skinner, Cash, Whalen, and Combs, she leaves scars but heals my bones. Without her, I'd be gone. This Pawnshop Guitar saved my life. She was there when I couldn't sleep. Somewhere inside there was a melody that needed to be played, needed me to hear. She was there the day that I met my wife, and I know damn well she caught her eye, 'cause she didn't fall in love with just me. She's gotten me through thick and thin, every situation I've been in. She don't take the hurt, just lets it out. Through Skinner, Cash, Whalen, and Combs, she leaves scars but heals my bones. Without her, I'd be gone. This Pawnshop Guitar saved my life. The day my son died, I tried to make a deal with the devil. Take me instead, he's only 21. And I've had low days, I didn't want to live with a grief. But somehow, this guitar keeps me breathing. She's gotten me through thick and thin, every situation I've been in. She don't take the hurt, just lets it out. Through Skinner, Cash, Whalen, and Combs, she leaves scars but heals my bones. Without her, I'd be gone. This Pawnshop Guitar saved my life. Pawnshop Guitar saved my life. Saved my life.
There you go. I can.
Ain't gonna lie, such an incredible song. It teared me up when I heard it earlier, and it did it again. Definitely makes you feel something.
Especially when you know the story behind the song. I know that one's touched a few, and that is the most stripped down song that I've ever released. I've never had just an acoustic guitar in my voice in a song. I mean, I play that way or on a weekly basis. I do that in bars and whatnot, but I don't normally play that song in the bars. I'm playing the honky tonk stuff, the stuff that's going to get you toe tapping and dancing. I usually reserve that one just for listening rooms and for writers' rounds and stuff like that, because I'm not trying to bring everybody down while I'm playing in a bar. But yeah, I thought about having like the full band production put behind it, have like the lead guitar and the drums and everything, but I really wanted to focus on the story of the song instead of the production. So we did it that way.
I think, in my opinion, I love it because it makes it more intimate.
Exactly.
You see the heart. You can feel the heart even as it recorded. I mean, obviously, the emotions there, and you can just feel the emotions in it. And not that a band's bad, but sometimes it's okay to just have that rawness and that, if that song don't make you feel something, you probably don't have a heart.
I couldn't disagree more. I couldn't agree more.
I knew what you were trying to say.
Uh,
Well,
sorry, I got myself too. You know, are you start
oh,
thinking? I know every word of the song by heart, obviously, but get to thinking about things. And of course, like I said, today would have been his 27th birthday, so today's a little bit rougher um, than some days. But yeah, got myself a little too.
you got me. This I ain't gonna lie. This is the third time I've heard it, and because I listened to it twice earlier. Because see, I when I'm listening to a song, sometimes it takes me two times of listening to it because I listen to the rhythm of the song, and then I go back and I listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
So technically, this is the third time I've listened to it. So, but
Well, that's the first time I've heard it today, and I should be ashamed of myself because it just released. I should have listened to it several times, but it's been one of those days. I mean, I purposely had it come out on his birthday. Um, just a
well,
little added.
well, I'm glad you shared it with me. I really am, and happy birthday to him. Such a impactful story, and I really am sorry you went through all that, but I'm thankful music was there to help you through it.
Oh, like I said, if it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be here. I just we had that happened on a Thursday when I got that phone call Friday morning, and I'm a working musician. I work on the weekends, and of course it was summertime, and um, the venue we were supposed to play at that night. The bartender reached out to me. She goes, I already told the venue owner that we might not have you tonight because of what happened. Um, and I said cancel, you can't cancel on me, um, because if I don't have if I don't do this, if I don't go play this show, because there was nothing I could do. I mean, what was done was done, and there was nothing I could do sitting at home. And or my brother and I, like I said, both in the band, and I told him, I said, there might be times where I fall out or I have to leave the stage or whatever. I said, but or he was prepared to cover me in any way he needed to, and the rest of the guys were too. But I said, or not even this song obviously hadn't been written yet, and I I I already knew then that if I didn't have music, I wasn't going to make it. So we played that show the day I found out my son had passed on, and I had my daughter with me. She came, and of course we had friends and family that were there um, to console and everything, and it was therapeutic. And I only broke down once in the show, and it was quick. But I mean, there's still times where I'm driving down the road and I hear a song. Um, I mean, there's some songs that are just triggering that I know if I'm driving, I have to either change the station or I'm gonna have to pull over or something. Um, just because, for instance, Hardy's "Give Heaven Some Hell." I had already started writing a very similar song with the same concept when that one came out. So it was kind of a disappointment that he came out with that first. Of course, I love his version, um, but I abandoned mine because I wasn't going to be able to top it, and I didn't want to, basically steal the concept from him. Um, but anyway, yeah, if I hear that song and I'm driving, I either have to pull over or switch station. There's just no two ways about it.
Yeah, I can relate. Granted, I didn't lose my ex-wife, but the love's still there. And I mean, I know it sounds horrible, but there's that song by George Jones. He stopped loving her today. That's mine. That's my song that I have to pull over on. I mean,
I say, or related to that song, or one of the ways I like to give back, because I do this for a living, but on the weekdays, especially this time of year when I don't have a whole full schedule, like 6 days a week playing, I like to play nursing homes. And there's one that's just a mile down the road from here. And a gentleman would ask me to play that song every time I was there. Like that was his song to his wife. And you get tired of playing the same songs over and over, but it didn't really mean anything to me. I mean, it didn't have the impact on me that it obviously had on him. So I played it because I wanted to make sure everybody was happy. But now, if anybody asks me to play a song, I immediately think of him, and it brings up some kind of emotion. Yeah, I completely get it. That's a tough one right there. But it gets requested often enough.
Oh yeah,
Because you can't beat the classics.
Oh, you can't. The icons. And me, honestly, he wrote a song that talked about just that. Who's gonna fill their shoes? To me, I don't think there's a whole lot of people that feel that iconic country music. I mean, there's some that are getting back to it. But like for so long, in my opinion, the record labels are trying to make people who they're not. And
I agree with you 100%. Case in point, and not to name drop or anything, but like Kane Brown, I don't really care for the stuff that they put out on the radio much. But some of the stuff that he puts on his CDs that he gets actually put on there, but they don't actually play it on the radio, isn't half bad because they force that. They're looking for that the hip hop sound in country instead of letting him play country music because not to come off racist, they do it because he's black and they're using it as a gimmick.
Exactly.
And it's unfortunate because he's such a talented artist, regardless of what his nationality is, or I guess not nationality. You know what I mean?
There's a song he did way back before he got big. What's the name of it? And I absolutely love the song. It's "Don't Go City on Me." It's like one of his very first songs, and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna like this guy." But then he got signed, and I was like, some of his stuff I like. But man, you take that. To me, you just take
they took a lot. They took a lot of the country away from him.
They took the heart because they always,
exactly.
In my opinion, he's being told how to write, how to sing.
Yeah.
When you take that heart out of it, you can tell. I mean,
he sneaks a good one in every now and again. He's got the Backseat Driver. I like that one.
Oh, I like that one too. I'm just saying, and
I completely agree with you, man. The same thing, and it's like the producers and the radio stations, they found the niche that they want to fill. They want more of the Florida Georgia Line type, or the Dan and Shay
versus George Jones and all that,
and then they want the Morgan Wallen with the hip hop beat and everything. But then you've got musicians out there or that actually have made a difference. The Chris Stapleton, the Luke Combs.
Oh yes.
And I mean, they're bringing some of that '90s country sound back, and bringing some of that traditional storytelling back, where instead of the bro country stuff. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy some Luke Bryan. There are some things in Florida Georgia Line that I enjoy, but not near as much as what I do like in the traditional sounding stuff. And there's a lot of musicians in the Midwest who have that good traditional sound.
Oh, absolutely.
That I truly enjoy. And I've spent more time in the last 4 years listening to independent artists. I don't know how many of these you would know, but I'm a part of the MCMO. I don't know if you are or not.
So am I.
Sweet.
I'm actually an administrator on that page, so am I.
Nice. But Samantha Grimes.
That's one I've been trying to get her on my show.
I'll text her and tell her to get a hold of you, because we actually talked this morning. We were talking about streaming and releases and stuff. But
Yes,
she doesn't have a voice right now. She apparently lost it last night.
she
But
has such an impactful voice, though. She really does.
she does, and she is such a talented writer. But like Eric Hagen over in Wisconsin did a show with Dylan Martinson, such a young kid. He's literally 2 days older than my oldest should have been, and he writes like he's in his 40s, like super talented. And then I mean, there's so many in the Minnesota scene, and then South Dakota. We just released one with Jessica Luby.
I heard that one. I heard that one because after Birdie shared your song, I loaded it up on Spotify, and I kind of was
nice.
You know, I like to check people out, especially, you know, I've seen your music here and there, but I've not heard it a whole lot. So because I am in the other groups, so I've seen it. So I've kind of been checking them out because I want to help them. You know, there's a guy by the name of Dalton Jones. He's from Alabama. I found him on TikTok, and he has some amazing songs out right now. And I passed some of his songs along to the radio station. They're actually playing one of his songs right now. So
nice.
I believe that especially as someone that does promote shows and does the sound side of it, there need to be more guys like you and Dalton and Samantha. And, you know, I could go on. There's so many talented independent artists out right now that, to me, I'd rather have them guys than them guys that are on stage lip singing to a cover track. And unfortunately,
I agree 100%.
Unfortunately, that stuff does happen. And as a sound guy, I hate it because people will come up and be like, I can't hear his vocals. You're not going to hear his vocals because he is just lip singing. I mean, obviously you're lip singing when the microphone's way out here. But anyway,
yeah.
So that I'm not going to take that rabbit hole. But
you and I see things that normal people don't, because, well, as a musician, I know when somebody's faking it.
Oh, as a sound guy, I do. Like, I've gone to festivals that weren't festivals I was running sound at, and people's like, I don't know what's going on with the sound and blah, blah, blah. I said, that's because it's not him singing. You know, a dead giveaway, though, is like I was saying, and it drives me nuts. And I've had artists tell me, I didn't like this performance, couldn't hear my vocals. Of course you couldn't hear your vocals because you weren't really singing. And, you know, I tell everybody, these artists that come up and, you know, I DJ a lot more than just, I run sound for a lot more than just country music. And I tell them all, I say, you know, there's nothing wrong with having your tracks down, but don't put your vocals on there.
I like the whole everything live. In my opinion, I'm not a huge, or we used to use some backing tracks, but it got to feel more like we were relying on those kind of things. And I like the I'd rather have mistakes. I'd rather have inconsistencies and flaws rather than have that spit polished. I mean, if all we're doing is playing if you can't hear anything different between a live performance and the CD,
why go see them live? Why go see us
live?
And, you know, there's a girl over here. She's from Columbia, and I think Columbia. It's either Columbia or Jeff City. I can't remember. And her name's Fire White. That's her stage name. And I've seen it to where she was poor girl. She was one of the first acts I ran sound for by myself because I didn't get into DJing to run sound. I got into DJing so I can make country music popular again. Real country music. But I've seen her and I've messed up on tracks because she does do her tracks, because the type of music she plays. But I've seen it to where even though the music stopped, she kept going. And, I'd rather them imperfections, even as the guy that caused the issue, than having, like you said, if I'm going to pay to go see a concert, why would I pay to listen to what I could listen to at home on my Spotify for free? Well, not free because I pay monthly for it, but regardless, why would I do it? I mean, I have never got to see Samantha perform. I've heard her. I've seen recordings of her perform because of Bubba. But the heart she puts into it.
I've had the privilege of sharing the stage with her.
And I'm a little envious.
Well, it was award show weekend, and we were thrown together in a collaboration, and it was, she is just so much fun.
Is that the Josie's Award?
No, the MCMO Awards up in Okoboji.
One of these days, I'm going to have to make it to one of those.
I'll say this year it'll be the first weekend in May up in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Well, eventually, I'd like to make it to one of those, being a part of it. I've never been, but
I tell you what, it is worth going. It is just for the conversations you get to have, the people you get to talk to, all the talent that you get to be around, and then you get to watch some of the most talented people in the United States playing original music, and that's almost exclusively what it is all night. The only covers are like at the end of the night they'll do a collaboration thing. Like this last year we did Brooks and Dunn and our Brooks and Dunn song, and I can't remember what the other one was off the top of my head, but I can't remember what it was. No, it was Toby Keith. But we other than that, every song you was heard was something that somebody in the Midwest had written and was performing and was very proud of, and or something they were planning on releasing or had already released. And to get to hear the stories behind those things and talk to those people and then see them win awards for that because their peers voted for them or whatnot. And I don't know if you ever met or talked to Corey Waller on the Wicked Things. They cleaned up last year.
I have not. That's another one I would love to get on.
They are fantastic, and they are all great human beings, and some of the most talented people you'd ever want to meet. Well, hell, I mean, even Bubba, he's super talented. He's got his own releases too.
Yeah. Actually, my intro is one of Bubba's songs.
I heard that.
Drifter, that is Bubba's song. We are such good friends. I asked him. He says, absolutely, Willie, I would be honored. That song, to me, the story in that song is what this show is all about. It's about finding that group that you can connect to after all them years. And, but yeah, I think honestly, the independent scene is where it is because they're not being told how to perform.
None of us have sold out. I like it. Because we're writing from here. We're writing from the heart. It's not because somebody told me, oh, if you write a song about this, it's going to sell. Or if you write a song that's got this beat to it, people are going to listen to it. It's what do I want to put out there, not what do you want me to put out there?
Or what do we think will sell? That's honestly how a lot of the big record labels do it now. It's not necessarily what the record label wants to hear, but they have so many stuff out, and it's like, okay, this is what's hot right now. This is what you need to make. So, and to me, and I'm not knocking it. It works for some people. But, you take and you mentioned him earlier, Morgan Wallen. They had Hollywood him up so much that when he did that crap at the bar, people started shunning him because the record labels built him up so much that eventually he fell when he threw the chair through the window.
Yeah.
And I know there's more to the story, but I'm not gonna drag it all up. But he would have
Yeah, I
never been under
remember.
that pressure if he could have been himself.
Right. And that's one of the reasons that I like his early work and not a huge fan of most of his new work. Not to, I swore up and down when I was younger, because I was a genius back then. I knew everything. I swore up and I swore up and down when I was young that I would never be like my parents. I would never want to, or like my dad. He thoroughly enjoyed the music from the 60s and 70s, and I was, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I swore up and down that as music evolved, I would too. Well, I've gotten to a point where if I hear that, if I hear a certain kind of beat, I change the station. The lyrics in a song have to, or if I hear a song all the way through, if I'm not the one in control of the radio, when I hear a song all the way through, and the lyrics don't impact me, in some way, I can't listen to a song if it's got that kind of beat. I just won't. I'll tune it out, or I'll turn the station, just because I know that was the record label pushing them to put that in there. And some of those songs, they don't need that
Hollywood up.
Well, yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't need to be Hollywooded up or whatever, however you want to put that, to get their point across. And some of them, like, you realize this was a great song until you did that. And then there's some songs. I mean, they'll make it past the process. I really enjoy the song. That's one part in the song I just can't stand. But there are artists, thankfully, out there that are getting past that. And if the radio doesn't want to play them, we have Spotify, and I'm an iTunes guy. But I mean, my buddy Danny Grouse released one yesterday, and I've listened to that. 85 and Young, I think is what it's called. Jesse Wilson just put out a new one not that long ago. Liv McNair put out a new one.
Listen, and that's the kind of music that I would love to be the showcase on here. I mean,
exactly.
Because, and I not only do I showcase it on here, but like your song, it's going to be downloaded into my DJ and stuff, and I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. And I will play it at my events.
I hope it goes over well then.
And honestly, if you have any others that you would like,
I've got a couple albums worth.
You can email them all to me, buddy. I will play as many as they will let me. Not all consecutively, but and that's what I do. Is I find music. Yeah, I have people on here that isn't necessarily my taste of music, but you know what? They have a story too. I don't care if it's rap, hip hop, whatever the genre is. Their heart went into their music too, and their story needs to be told.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not strictly country. I like a lot of stuff. I mean, I'll listen to Eminem. I'll listen to My Chemical Romance.
I didn't see that one. I did not see that coming. I'm not gonna lie.
No. Some of the songs just hit, and
they do.
I do. I was huge in the alternative scene back in the '90s. So like Third Eye Blind or Three Doors Down or
yes, Three Doors Down, Here Without You or Kryptonite, either one of those. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, Let Me Be Myself. That's the one right there. I like that one, but I mean I like the other ones too. But I mean I like the songs that have a story behind them, or they're not just trying to fill the void, the bro country stuff, like I said, because there's 10 different songs about driving a truck and drinking beer, or there's a lot more than 10, you know what I mean? But if your song doesn't have anything to make it stand out, if it's just a sugar cookie cutter version of a different cookie cutter song, like what's the point?
Exactly. I mean, and when you mentioned Morgan Wallen, I do like some of his stuff. Like, there's a song he did, Cover Me Up.
Yeah, Jason Isbell cover.
Yes, I love that song by him. I mean,
Yeah,
when
he did a
I
very good job with that one.
yeah,
I say I still like his first release best, The Way I Talk.
yes, I agree, and that's what I think is eventually, if you are going to go into the music industry, it's and nowadays, in my opinion, and no, I'm not an artist, but I see it. I think it's better to make your footprint as an independent artist, because you have that freedom to say, no, I don't want to take this gig, or no, I'm not going to play this way. You know, as a DJ, there's nothing more that irritates me than when I go to a show and they want to tell me how to run my show. I mean, you hired me for the Wild Willie experience.
Yeah, trust me,
And
I get it because we'll have those conversations when we're booking a show. Like, do you do a lot of this or do you do a lot of that? And tell them exactly what we do, and then or we'll get there or whatever. Can you guys play this? So we've been asked to play Pink Pony Club. Uh, First problem with that is it's five guys in the band, guys, and
probably
uh,
all have moves.
yeah, we all have kids, and I'm like, you realize that's what that song's about, and like we're just no. Or probably one of the most requested things we ever get is, do you guys do any Shania Twain? I have no problem with guys covering girl songs. I cover a Dixie Chick song. I cover a Cranberry song, a couple others, but name a Shania Twain song that's not or that would be fitting for a guy. You want to hear, which one do you want to hear? Whose bed have your boots been under? Any Man of Mine? Or
Man, I feel like a woman. That's where
yeah,
it is.
yeah, man, I feel like, well, I understand you want to see the 6'3" tattooed bearded man sing "Man, I Feel Like a Woman." I get it. I really don't. Sorry.
But no, I get it. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. There's been nights I've been drunk and I've saying, "Man, I want to." Man, I feel like a
Oh
woman.
no, I'll sing along, but I'm not gonna play it and make the guys learn it. Just I don't know. I guess that one could go. It could go over fine. Whatever. It's not
You
me.
know, but you
So
bring that up.
when you're asking that, like if you asked me to play some Johnny, or I had somebody come up. I was playing it was a brunch show. I was playing 10:30 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, and somebody came up and asked me if I could do Britney Spears' "Toxic," and I'm not sure what I had played earlier in that set that made her assume that I could play anything Britney Spears, because I'm pretty sure I hadn't played anything that wasn't country at that point. Maybe I'd played Matchbox 20, but that was as close as I got.
You got
I
me
said
dying
sorry.
laughing over here.
I just said sorry. I don't know that song. And then she said, well, can you do Tennessee Whiskey by Stapleton? That should have been your first one, lady, because I can do Stapleton. But
Honestly,
I got nothing for you as far as Britney Spears is concerned.
honestly, not that Chris Stapleton did a bad job on it, but I still like the original.
Oh well, yeah. There's definitely a big difference between Jones and of Stapleton on that one.
Yeah, and I
But I
mean,
tell you what,
but that's
you
what
should listen
makes it for him, because he didn't try to be George Jones.
Exactly.
He kept some of the original flair in it, but he made it his own too. So
Exactly.
that's just
And
like there's an artist out now. I can't remember who it is, but he covers Grandpa.
really,
And I can't remember who it is to save my life, but it is phenomenal. I mean,
that's one I've covered too. I just don't have a recording of it or anything like that. It just somebody asked me if I could do it. I'm like, you know what? I think I can fake my way through this one. Or it's not like I'm not debasing myself by saying, "Man, I feel like a woman," by talking about Grandpa in the good old days.
and that's gonna drive me.
You'll
That's
think of
gonna
it and text me later. No, we were talking about Tennessee Whiskey. If you've never heard Luke Combs do it, you should hear Luke Combs try or
He
do that.
does another one. Yes. Cody Johnson.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Hey,
I haven't
hey,
heard Cody
hey.
Johnson do anything that he shouldn't have done.
I'll give you a hug, but you can't be on camera. I love you. But yes, he does a phenomenal job on it. I did not think when I seen that he released it, I did not think,
I'll have to give that one a listen.
but to me, and there are some female songs that men can do, or vice versa. Like,
Well, yeah, if they're not, or like my issue with like the Shania Twain one is they're all women power songs, and they're all like I'm a
women
strong woman.
anthems. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a strong woman, but I can't relate to any of that stuff. And I can't change the words to make it fit. Like especially on the fly, I can't say, "Man, I feel like a man," or sorry, "Woman, I feel like a man." Then it just becomes sexist.
But no, to me, that's what makes it all, and Keith Whitley, he did the When You Say Nothing at All.
Yep.
Love that song. But Alison
Krauss
did it. She did an amazing job on it as well. I'm not going to sell her short.
No,
But
I do like the Keith Whitley version better, but she did an admirable job with it.
Yes, but the thing on it is she didn't try to impersonate that person. She put her own flair on it. And
exactly.
I can think of songs over and over, like The Blues Man, originally done by Hank Williams Jr., redone by yep.
You got me on this one. I got no idea.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna have to go and Google it real quick.
Some of those covers are done well. I mean, but I mean, I've obviously heard ones that
Alan Jackson. I didn't even have to Google it; it just come to me.
There you go.
But he did it good. He changed the words up a little bit, but it had the same, to me, that's what it takes to make a song work. Even if you take somebody's that's iconic. And now I've heard people that take iconic songs and boy, they should have never recorded them.
I mean, I got one in mind, but I got one in mind, but I won't blow them under the water. But I mean, I cover songs. I cover Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, but I'm not ever going to record it because I'm not going to try and put myself up to that standard. Now, if I ever were to, like get signed or whatever, and they're like, hey, we want you to put your version of this out there, I would not do it the way they do it. Or we would try to do our own spin on it.
Exactly. I know a guy that he has very stage fright. He's a hell of a singer, guitar player, but he will not perform. He has not got the confidence yet. And he does Who's Gonna Fill Their Shoes by George Jones. And oh my goodness. Yeah. I told him, I said, that's what you need to release. Stuff like that. I know musicians who are seriously talented that won't cover the national anthem. They won't do it because they're terrified of having that or having a bad note or something and getting labeled like, oh, can't do the national anthem, which is one of my favorite songs to perform live anyway. But yeah, I get it. It's some of those things can be kind of dangerous. Well, Lee, I want to thank you for being on the show today. It's been a true honor, buddy. Why don't you tell everybody, because we're kind of lengthy here at the moment, and none of it will be edited. None of it is going to be edited out. It'll all come just like it is. Even the daddy I want to hug. And the reason why I do that is because I want to show people, no matter where you're at in your life, there's no better time than the present than to follow your dreams.
I agree with that 100%, brother.
So
we only get one life, man. If you're not doing what you love, you're not doing it right.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about this real quick. You mentioned music in your hard times. When I got through my divorce, my ex-wife left. 2 days later, I was DJing at the bar. And they're like, you need to be home figuring out what's next. It's like, no, I need to be here with the music. It's who I am, and there was times where there was songs, because I do DJ karaoke both, and there was times where someone would sing a song where she used to sing to me at first, and I would have to get up and walk off, but I'd listen and come back on stage. So I wouldn't cry in front of everybody. I'm not going to lie. But ultimately, if it wasn't for music, I'd be in the same boat as you. I would not be here I am, and I definitely wouldn't be the dad I am to that little girl, because when you have horrible examples of fatherhood, there are songs about being a wonderful dad.
Yeah.
And those are songs that I have looked to be a better dad, because when you dealt rough cards, you don't know how to be a dad. But why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, website, social media, whatever.
So if you look up Lee Klett, Klett, I'm available on every social media, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok's big right now. I'm terrible on Instagram. I'm okay on Facebook. So look up Lee Klett or Lee Klett Music, or I should pop up. My website's leeklett.com. We also have one for the band. It's theboysmusic.com. And if you look up The Boys Iowa, it's the quickest way to find us, because there are other things out there called The Boys. If you put Iowa behind it, you can find us right away. It shows when our schedule is going to take us, where it's going to take us, all that good stuff. And also sends all the links to the music, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, whatever. It's all there under The Boys. And if you can't find it easily, coming from social media is the easiest way to find it, because we'll have links and everything for all the music.
Well, if you ever get down in Missouri and you need a sound guy, you let me know.
I will absolutely do that. If you have some place that wants live music on Saturday, I'll be down there in the Kansas City area.
Well, that's a little short notice. I don't know of any off the top of my head.
I know. Well, we're running out of the country on Sunday, so I put some feelers out there and never got anything, so never know what might happen.
Well, y'all, until next time, remember, you're not alone in what you're facing, and you are loved.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Not a problem.